tonight because we have a guest who is an amazing person, and he was also a good friend to Dr. Gregory Diggs.
Yes.
And they were in the same fraternity.
Yes.
You guys were alphas.
Yes, Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity.
And so I feel really lucky and fortunate to have Hashim Coates here with us tonight. Hashim, welcome to the basement. I know my kid came down earlier and
It's all right.
to go potty, even though this studio is just the best.
Life is real, right?
But why don't you let people know who you are? They may have heard you speak on our last episode, which was a great episode at Hope Tank. It was a live episode with Representative James Coleman, Elizabeth Epps, and Fernando Branch. So definitely give that a listen if you want to hear Hashim just pop off like a crazy person.
You thought that was crazy. Well, cool.
So
Well, thank you. I'm glad to be here. I'm humbled by the invite. But who I am Hashim Coates, Colorado native, born and raised in Park Hill, George Washington High School alum, Navy veteran. Yeah, G-Dub. And a Metro State University, it was college back when I graduated, but State University alum as well. Community activist. Sometimes I feel shameful to say that, right? Because society feels like they look at activists as bad. But I am a community activist. I'm an issue activist as well, too. But professionally, I do political work, political consulting, political advocacy. That is what I am. And not just from multiple lenses. I do it from a LGBTQ lens. I do it also from a people of color and specifically a black lens. And then I also do it just from the generic of it's how white people think type of lens as well. So I'm political consulting from a holistic, multifaceted approach. And I'm single.
And ready to mingle.
Yes. And I'm ready to settle down too, right?
Okay.
Both. I'm multifaceted in all points.
Yeah. All right. So tonight, it's really important that if you have not seen the movie Sorry to Bother You, written and directed by Boots Riley, you should just probably pause, go buy a ticket, get some popcorn, maybe go to one of those theaters where they have like booze at it, get a drink because you're going to need it, and just like come back to this and listen to this episode after you see Sorry to Bother You.
Yeah.
All right?
Or you can before, and then you can take notes, right?
No. I feel like there's going to be spoilers.
Yeah, we're going to spoil it pretty hard, I would think.
I'm one of those people that if I want to see something, I don't care.
Oh, you don't care?
Yeah.
I care deeply. I care so deeply that I'm going to continue to say there are spoilers in this episode.
But like in life, like there's no surprises about what comes in life. Like there's no spoilers about what comes in life, right?
What, like death and taxes?
Well, I mean, that's coming, but you don't know when. So I appreciate it about movies and TV shows. Like, okay, that's what's coming. Okay.
Makes you feel better.
Me. Yeah.
That's why people like Law and Order, because it always has like an ending where like the good guys get the bad guys.
I hate Law and Order though, but yeah.
I mean, but it's just that it's so formulaic.
I got what you're saying.
All right. Anyway, Hashim Coates, everybody. Yeah.
All right. Thank you for coming. Now goodbye.
All right. So hey, and if you are listening to us on iTunes or Stitcher, can you drop us a rating, 5 stars, subscribe, tell a friend, tell several friends, and give us that good review. Also, please remember that you can send us questions or comments on our Facebook page, Off Color Podcast, or hit us up on the Twitters at Off Color Pod. Okay? All right. So let me just talk about a couple of things real quick, if you don't mind. This is a segment I like to call Racist Things That Happened Last Week. Okay. I write a lot of jingles. I had kind of an altercation with my neighbor. Did I talk about this last time? No.
No, you didn't.
So I had an altercation with my neighbor after I had a couple of drinks, and then I went over, and because she had posted and said that she was having her relatives over, and she said she had 45 people. But when I looked at it, I saw it as she had 45 people, like people who voted for Donald Trump. So I thought that's what she was like trying to clue us into. And so then I read it again and I realized she just meant 45 people. Gotcha. Like that's a number of people. So I went out there to say hi, whatever. And it turned into this conversation where I walked up to her and I said, hey, neighbor, and I started talking to her cousin, and it was really cool. Like, her cousin's actually deaf, and I know a little sign language. So, I mean, it was like a pretty good conversation. Then her other cousin has a black husband and some black babies, and so we're talking about all my mixed race stuff and the More Than One Box Festival coming up August 18th. Get your tickets. And then I said, so I told her what I thought, that maybe there was Trump supporters there. And so I was like worried, and then I realized I misread it. I just thought it was funny.
Right.
But then her auntie was like,
I'm a Trump supporter. Sorry.
No, word. No, she was like, how could you even think that? And I was like, well, you're all white. I mean, it was literally 100% white, because maybe that lady has a black husband, but I didn't see him or the children. So I was like, and I thought it was kind of like a joke, but she got real mad. You know how that happens sometimes?
Yes.
So I bring that up because I like to think about and reflect on things that happened with other people. Like, besides, like sometimes I want to know, am I like being like paranoid? And even though I know I'm not, a little part of me is like, oh, maybe we are too sensitive, So that's just, I don't know. How do you deal with those kinds of incidents, Hashim, like in your personal life?
I treat everything like it's a nail. I just act like a sledgehammer. No.
Oh, damn. What? Bam!
I try to be more observant.
Yeah.
And slower to respond. I think I have a tongue and a mind that's quick or designed to like quick retort. And sometimes like, I wish I'd have thought that out a little bit better.
Yeah.
To make the dig harder. No.
Yeah.
But just to maybe better address what happened. But when you say sensitive, I have a question. Like, sensitive who? Who's sensitive? Like, would you say that you would be the one that was sensitive?
Yes.
How? Like, I mean, the climate, like, the foundation of this country was like built upon 45's values, and
that's true.
So, oh my God. So all right. So there's no need for you to be sensitive. I mean, the sensitivity part occurred upon your neighbor's family. Like, how could you think that of us? Well, where the hell has she been? Like, 53% of white women, and a lot higher percentage of white men got them there.
I toted that stat out, as I often do. Don't you think it's kind of effed up that I have to do that, like, regularly? I have to be like, well, how many white ladies voted for him.
Well, they know as well. So, like, I don't think the sensitivity would be on your part. It would be on their part. But also, like, when I say 45, rarely do I ever use the name.
Yeah.
So if I ever see someone do 45, I would think they'd be a supporter of my values as opposed to a MAGA type of person.
Yeah.
But the country was founded on that type of stuff. So, I mean, I don't think that you're being sensitive at all. I mean, hypervigilant, maybe, but I mean, when you do root cause analysis and look and you get to the rudimentary of things, like, I think it's there. Yeah. Yeah, it's justified.
Well, I feel really frustrated by it from time to time. And so usually what I do is, as White James knows, I do like to go on the Twitters. Go on a tear. That's how he had even heard of this, because I'll just get on there and like vent. Okay. And it's something.
And it seemed to be like 20 minutes after we had hung out, and I was like, "What did I fucking do?" Like, because there was just like 100 tweets about like shitty neighbors, and like I was just like, "Wow."
Oh God, it was terrible. Anyway. So after that, though, I did apologize. I sent her a message. I said, I'm sorry I ruined your White Panther party. That's a Forrest Gump joke. Okay, anyway. No, this is serious, though. Okay. When you mentioned bringing, like, what our country was founded on, when you mentioned that, I was thinking about, the things that I put on the Twitters, and because there's another person that tweets a lot about racism and white supremacy that is local, is someone that maybe you guys know, Syra Rao. She ran for Congress, and actually Michael Harriot at the Root like did a story about her. Like he was like, I got her back because she's calling it out. But I guess after she didn't win the primary against the incumbent, she kind of bugged out a little bit. And I've been, and I follow her, and I was just like, damn, she's really pissed. And also, I'm like, girl, this been done happening, kind of. I was like, oh, you're also getting a little bit recently woke. Because I'm like,
But do you want to talk about a little bit the content of that particular tweet, maybe for people who don't know, the thing that caused this whole mess for her?
Oh, yeah, because there was just an article that was entitled, Should I Give Up on White People? Or something like that from, like, HuffPo. And she was like, or she wrote a response to it, and she was like, yes, I do give up on them. And then she was saying it's their responsibility to do the education, not people of color.
She's right.
And people went batshit on her. It was crazy. And then Breitbart picked it up.
Diana should have said something about the response, though. I think Diana's been silent.
Yeah.
In regard to the threats and in regards to the white racism stuff. So Diana has been silent in regards to the reason or some of the reason that Cyrus says that she's giving up on white people. Diana's been complicit in that, right? She's done what typical white women have done. She hasn't acted like John Brown.
Yeah.
She acted more like a Susan B. Anthony type of thing, right? Like, we're for suffrage, but
but not
black
your
women,
suffrage.
not yet. Not yet.
Yeah.
So that shows poor leadership. That shows lack of a spine. Because Diana sits in a place of privilege where she could have said something about it, to offer some type of support.
Yeah.
Unless Diana really doesn't like black women, doesn't like indigenous women, doesn't like Indian women, and she's like, yes, please eradicate her.
Maybe she is.
From there. Like,
listen, I'm sorry. Things have gotten so crazy, I would not be surprised.
So,
you know what I'm saying?
Maybe she doesn't. I mean, you don't even have to go as far as to say she doesn't like them. I mean, she clearly doesn't really she doesn't care.
That's the
I
same
mean,
as-
that's the weird thing.
That's the same.
Yeah.
Well, as Dr. King said, like in the end, we remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. And I mean, if my best friend was doing something, whether it was right or wrong, if I liked it, I'm gonna be silent. I mean, so if these people are saying things that maybe they're speaking Diana's heart, because Diana felt threatened to her seed, her livelihood. So maybe that's just some of her anger, her rage, and just being silent. And maybe that's, how do we know, right? I mean, so there's nothing but speculation unless Diana actually spoke up to say this is wrong. But I mean, Diana was silent on the Maxine Waters thing too, right? Like, so and that's who she serves with in Congress. Like, so. Shit, white silence is the problem. Dr. King said that too about moderates, and they love Dr. King, but then they always forget that Birmingham jail letter. So
Well, what are we gonna do?
Get louder.
So that's the question I asked Boots Riley when I met him recently last week. I asked him about that. I'm like, well, what do we do after seeing that Sorry to Bother You movie? So, you guys want to talk about that?
Yeah.
Maybe. No. Yeah, you're good.
Listen, spoiler. All right.
Spoiler alert.
Last
Spoiler
chance.
alert.
Last chance.
Get out.
If you've made it this far. Speaking of Get Out, this movie is kind of being compared to that, and that I feel like it was definitely like a social thriller or social sci-fi. You know what I mean? Like, I definitely.
That would be in the same genre, maybe.
Yeah.
Different. Get Out was written with a sober mindset.
Yeah.
Sober creativity, right? And not an enhanced creativity type of mindset.
That was one example, one review. Somebody said they were like, Sorry Not to Bother You is really good, except at the end where they force you to take a bong hit.
20 minutes before the end.
So I loved the film.
Okay.
I loved the film. I was so captivated by the story. I loved seeing my old neighborhoods in Oakland. I felt like
Were those true neighborhoods in Oakland?
Yeah.
Where? Because I grew up a little bit in Oakland.
Yeah.
And I was trying to picture it. Like
And
Black
one was
Panther
just
said
the-
Oakland.
Yeah, but
but
one
it
was
wasn't
like
Oakland.
no, but this one was like they were downtown. They
It's a
were.
lot
You
of
could see the
downtown.
signs
Okay.
with the little Oakland tree on it. You know what I mean? Like
Okay,
it was.
all right.
It was Maxwell Park.
My old bookstore got
Yeah.
a cameo.
Yeah. What bookstore did you work at?
Walden Pond.
Walden
It's
Pond,
the
huh?
oldest like radical lit bookstore in Oakland.
Did you know Boots Riley when you lived in Oaktown?
I didn't know him on any kind of
Yeah.
level, but he was like running every protest I ever went to.
Let's
and
call
He
him.
was like around.
I want to call him. All right, let's get his number. We'll call him next time.
Okay.
We'll just throw it in there, okay? James, I'll call him later.
Okay, cool.
I'm invited back for
We'll drop
next
that
time.
in.
All right. So I liked all that. I loved my favorite character, obviously, is Detroit. Like, I loved, she reminded me significantly of myself. And Tessa Thompson, girl, you listening? You should come on out, honey.
Okay.
She's one of my people.
Okay.
So, anyway, that was I felt very captivated. I felt very surprised by the twist. When you were watching the film, can you talk about, like, your experience?
All right. So full disclosure,
Yeah.
I went on a date
Oh.
to see the film.
Oh.
So it was kind of didn't have my full critique eye.
Oh, were
Right.
you holding hands or something?
Kind of. Yeah. Kind of.
Okay, all right, we can talk about that later, but go
But
ahead.
okay.
This always makes the movie seem 10 times better than it would be, though.
Kind
I
of,
feel
but then I was a little tired too. Like, so there was a whole lot, right? Like, because when you were saying go see the movie,
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to see this damn movie. Like, it
Yeah.
wasn't on my list of movies to see. But I hadn't even seen a preview. I just a quick preview, like, oh, black guy telemarketer
Yeah.
uses his voice to get ahead. I'm like, yeah, I do that shit all the time. Like, you know. But then I watched the clip on the way to the theater, and I was like, okay, all right. So then I got in the movie and I saw it, so I liked it. So all that to say, I'm gonna have to see it again to give it my critiquing eye. So I kind of forgot your question, but
I'm not the only one. Okay.
What was your experience in the film? Like, what were your feelings as you watched it?
okay. So there was a lot. Like, I understood. So you had Danny Glover being the old sage, being the elder, right? And saying, hey, this is how you navigate inside of whiteness, and this is how you survive. And I'm like, all right, cool, I dig it. So then it became like, am I selling out? Am I not being who I am? And I'm thinking about my own work in politics, right?
Yes.
Like, so I'm like, oh, I speak the speak. I am the whisperer to many groups, and
Yeah.
and sometimes I do get questioned from my community, like, what side of the fence are you on? I'm like, this is how I always present. You know, I'm dark skinned, beard, locks, and dashiki. Like, this is it.
Yeah.
Not to say that, you know, someone that is closer on the coon spectrum cannot dress like this. But anyway, so I'm looking at, like, all the lessons that they teach to survive, and then it just got out of control. So then it became the sellout part, right? So when he really went upstairs to the
Power caller.
power caller level, and that was like, okay, this is what some black people actually do in real life.
Yeah.
And now they start selling out their own at the cost of their own without reaching back to even benefit the community.
Yeah.
And then it, like, just got way out of control, and then there was just so many messages. Like, so he actually started forgetting his roots, started forgetting the things that he loved, and started chasing the wealth to help, in his mind, improve the love from Detroit, right? And she's like, no, I liked you before.
Yeah.
You know, so it was a lot. And then the ending, I knew that was going to happen. I just knew it. Like, I knew a lot of stuff was going to happen. Like, the whole, what was his name? I forget the name from The Walking Dead.
Glenn.
Glenn. I knew that. I saw that was coming when they first met.
Oh,
Like,
me too. But I was also like, I was like, hey, that guy's, this is fun.
I didn't approve of that. He should have died. Because he had the intentions from when he first met her.
So I had a question about that, and I did not ask this question to Boots Riley. So Boots, if you're listening, or maybe next time,
Let's see. We'll catch him at his next appearance.
Yeah.
listen, you never know with me.
We'll get him on here.
I can do it.
He was one of my early. We had like we were making like dream lists of guests. He was on my like first draft.
Oh, wow. Was that on that list?
We'll get him. You second draft. You were on the
Yeah.
second one.
Your eyes are brown, huh?
Okay. Wait, I forgot what I was talking about.
You wanted to say something about the Glenn character.
And you said, "Hey, Boots," from the. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Because I wanted to know what would have happened if the outcome, if when Cassius asks her, when she asks him, do you want to know who it was? And he says no. What if she had told him? Do you think then the whole thing would have not happened?
I don't think he would have apologized to him. I think he'd have apologized to his best friend, but I don't think he would have apologized to him. I don't know. I don't know how significant. There's probably something edited out, right?
Yeah.
Because the movie, something had to have been edited out, because that was why I bring that up if nothing in the movie would support that as being pivotal.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know.
I kind of liked how that was done. I thought that was just kind of there was a realistic note to that.
Yeah.
And then when Detroit and Cash get back together and Glenn's there and it's not a big moment, you just see he kind of awkwardly fades in the background and that's some shit that really happens.
Yeah.
I just...
Yeah. No, okay.
It rang true for me.
Yeah.
I don't know what it meant plot-wise. But
I liked... Yeah, there were so many good lines in it, too, though. But I liked when she was like, don't listen to what I say. Listen to what I want. Yeah. My husband's like, This is shit right here.
Start saying what you want, right?
Yeah.
So what did Boots say to you about what you should do?
He was like... so I asked him if Detroit's earrings were the blueprint, if that was the message, that he was sending us a message on how we should start the revolution. And he was like, no. And then he winked. No, I'm just kidding. He didn't. But he said that there are suggestions in the film about organizing in labor and having kind of a radical view on unions and having them not just the ones that are we already exist, but new ones. And so I'm on board, man, because it's kind of funny that we said the other day, it got so hot at my work, the heat was on, even though it was 99 degrees outside.
Yeah.
So I think we've been hacked by the Russians. I don't know if you should delete that. I don't know. But I think that they're in our heating system because that's how they got into the Home Depot. I feel like I sound like a person that works in the library.
What about Home Depot?
When Home Depot got hacked...
Oh, I didn't know about this.
They went through the HVAC. Target, same thing. Because they went through one of their vendors, through their credentials somehow, when they were able to get in, and then they're able to enter in systems, and that's how they stole people's, financial data and stuff.
You.
So I'm not really making this up. I'm actually serious. Kind of. It was real hot in there, though. Woo!
Okay.
Anyway. Again, what were we talking about?
What Boots thinks we should do after watching the film. What kind of action?
Oh, yeah. I thought you were going to kill me, dude. Don't kill me.
No.
Okay.
We're getting there.
He said that we should kind of we need to organize.
Organize. I can see how he said that because it's throughout the movies. It's in 3 different sets, right? It
Yeah.
was organizing in those that were spray painting, organizing in the office space, and then organizing at the end of the movie. So,
but he's an artist.
Spoiler alerts, right?
Yeah.
So
The
centaurs or whatever they.
Yeah.
Equisapiens. Equisapiens.
Yeah.
So they organized. So it was all about organizing to fight against your oppressor. So it was organized and in action, right?
Yeah.
So, and I don't know. People always ask what to do, but I don't think people listen when they're told what to do.
Maybe I don't. I mean, I think
it wasn't personal shot.
No, but I think I kind of feel like I am doing my thing, right? Where I'm let's talk to people and find out what's going on, and let's back good candidates, and let's uplift women of color. There's going to be a lot of women of color running here locally in Colorado, which I think is going to be interesting. So let's keep our eyes on that.
Hopefully they get the support they need.
How are you going to help support them?
I mean, it's just a big thing, right? So it's a fine line. You don't ever want to tell someone that they can't run or they shouldn't run because that's everyone's right to. But not everybody has a political eye to realize we don't have 30% of the voting population out, right? Those groups that need to vote that would actually get these women of color launched up. Look at Cyrus race, right? Like you can see where the votes came from and who voted. White people vote, you know, and the other communities kind of stayed at home. So with that being said, do you flood the market with early dreamers or the people that have the new epiphanies to run, and then you have those that understand current political climate and strategy still in the race, the Dinah DeGett's, right? That are like, it wasn't that hard of a race because they understand the current level. So you got to like, the real work is educating, crossing Quebec, right, and educating those that are still remaining in those neighborhoods, educating them like, well, this is why it's important to vote, right, and like maybe even showing a graph like, hey, it takes less than 10 minutes to fill out your ballot, and you know the time it actually takes to turn your ballot in, like less than 20 minutes total from filling it out and finding a drop box to turn it in, and you're done. And this is how it benefits you.
I just keep thinking about how James Coleman was like, on the last episode, he was like, he won by 80 votes.
Went to bed losing, woke up winning.
Yeah, and so I feel like that is why I'm like, come on, just vote. And I get really mad here because honestly, it is real easy.
So the ballots are sent out 21 days before the damn election.
Yeah.
21 days. Like, and there's drop boxes all throughout the city, like throughout your county. Like, please drop it off in your own. Those that are listening, drop your mail in your own county. Yeah. But there's really no. I've ended friendships and what's a friendship? Relationships. We'll go relationships.
Me too.
Over the lack of voting. Like,
me too.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot about it. How the fuck you forget about it in this 21 days? Like.
Well, I don't like it when sometimes when people don't educate themselves on the issues or the candidates, because like my coworker did that and I like yelled at her. She's like, well, I didn't know. And I said, well, what? It's called Google.
It's called Google.
It takes like 2 seconds, or ask someone. Honestly, we told people how to vote.
So listen.
I told kids.
People like, I don't care if you vote, just vote. No. If you want to do an easy lift, vote like me.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what to do.
Yeah.
And I think people that should do that because people, it's boring to get into, right?
Yeah, but I have a really good idea.
To get into, but what's that?
Let's make the off-color guide to voting.
Yeah.
And we'll put it out before the election and let people know. And it's like really easy to get that information. And we'll do, like who to vote for if you're interested in dismantling white supremacy and, tearing down all the systems and structures that are keeping us down. Who's with me?
I'm with you.
Yes.
I'm with you.
I feel like you guys are more with me than I'm with me.
Well, you said it, and I'm going to hold you to it.
So can I ask you how? So a lot of conventional wisdom right now seems to be that that representation among candidates will be something that brings out the vote among people of color and amongst younger people. You seem a little skeptical of that.
I kind of do. Like, I'm left. Like, I'm very left. But I am skeptical of it just because I haven't seen it. And I've done voter registration, like walking Colfax.
Me too.
Standing at county services offices and having one-on-one conversations with people. And the deficiency of knowledge of what it takes to vote. Like, I always get hit with, we got to vote this November to get Trump out of office. I'm like, it's not going to happen. That's not how it works. It's a 4-year term, right? Yeah. And then I hear like, oh, it's electoral college. Our votes don't count anyway. And I'm like, there's so much to that and I can't unpack it. Like, I mean, even electoral college at face value is determined by popular vote, right? Like, so if enough people vote, they win the electoral college. And I'm not going to get into the whole thing of like the electoral college voters can do whatever the hell they want to once they get there. Like, that's
I think we should totally abolish the electoral college.
We should. It was a racist ass system. Like, and please don't say that it was created for the farmers.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it was created for the people that own the farms. And another word is plantations. So for plantations, and that's how it's still racist. Like,
I think, but why can't we just? How do we get rid of that? Can we
the
just,
excuse is like if we got rid of the electoral college, people would only be in New York, California, Texas, and Florida, right? Because they could actually swing the elections. I'm like, well, the same shit kind of still applies. Like, if it's, I don't know, but it should just go. It should just go away. I mean, like, things change for a damn reason.
Yeah.
I mean, and so come up with a new system. I mean, but we'll get rid of this, and while we work out something new, it should still be popular vote.
Yeah, it seems insane, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. All right. Let's abolish that.
That settles it. Get rid of the
right.
electoral college.
Yeah, no more electoral college. Next person that wins, if they win the popular vote, then they're the winner.
I still look at Hillary, even though I was never really ready
Yeah.
for Hillary. I was lock and step when she won the primary.
Yeah.
I acted like Jesse Owens, right?
Yeah.
Mad dashing to the polls to support her because I knew what was on the other side had less value than used toilet tissue.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh God.
And she won. Let's not forget that she won.
She did win. I mean, and she won, and then now we get the investigations like she really won because he cheated. But I mean, it shows that.
I read an article today before we go on this long ass Trump talk, but that said Donald Trump is not in Putin's pocket.
Whatever.
Because he's
Was it in the New York Times?
No. It was just some article I tweeted and probably spread misinformation. And so I scrolled down and then it had this Russian surname was the author, and then I kind of was like, I wonder if this is true or not.
I mean,
but I can see I can see why people believe what the fake news says. I mean, not.
Why can you see that?
Oh God. Not our fake news. Their fake news.
Right.
No, but I can see why people are misinformed because I'm a librarian by trade, right?
Okay.
And so I do a lot of researching and helping people find information and stuff like that, Sorry, what were we talking about?
No, Trump's not in Putin's pocket.
Yeah, because of things he's doing with gas prices or something, or with oil. It was some kind of article that I didn't 100%. Oh, I was saying that I understand how people can just be fooled by stuff, because when I read it, my first thought was, I was like, oh, maybe it's true. And then I was like, this seems suspicious. And so I feel like I have the ability to think critically and evaluate information in such a way that I don't believe that the average American citizen can do or cares to do. It's like willful illiteracy.
Yes. So they write an article and say, oh, we can't be in Putin's pocket because gas prices have dropped 5 cents last week, right? I'm like, oh yeah, because Russia wants this oil thing and Trump is doing this. So it's taking, the best lies are the lies that have a little bit of truth, right?
Yeah.
So gas prices have dropped, but it doesn't have shit to do with the relationship of Trump. And there might be some truth. He might not be in Putin's pocket. He might be in the front part of his boxers.
Oh no.
That's where Trump is positioned at. He's not in his pocket. He's in the zipper part, the fly part of Putin's boxers.
I mean, wouldn't it be kind of wonderful if they were truly lovers? Wouldn't that add a twist that we didn't see coming?
It would make it understandable.
Yeah.
I would do things for my boo like that, right?
Yeah. So I feel like
Bonnie
then
and
it would
Clyde,
make,
right?
Yeah,
It's
maybe
just,
it would make more sense. That's all I'm saying.
It would apply some logic to it.
Yeah, because right now I'm like, oh, wait, is this treason?
Yeah, I feel it is. I mean, people
do.
have been convicted of treason for less. I mean,
Yeah.
you have black people convicted of treason or attempts to overthrow the government just because they said, damn it, I have a right to exist. Stop killing us, right? So they get convicted of treason. But you mentioned critical thinking. We don't teach critical thinking. And those of us that know, either we get exasperated with doing it, or if they're on the other side, they choose not to do it. So you have those that are willful ignorant, and those that just are deficient at it or don't have it at all. But even our system, we push Christianity, and I don't mean to offend anyone, but think about it pragmatically.
I mean,
if you critically think, and I did, I was raised Baptist, and critical thinking frustrated the shit out of my mom, right?
Yeah.
So because I asked questions, I'm like, with the crucifixion, right? I mean, the resurrection, whatever, crucifixion to resurrection. 1, 2, 3. I 3 days. How did that happen on Friday?
Yeah.
Help me with this, right? I mean, critical thinking, snakes talk. Critical thinking, a man can be in the belly of a whale for 3 days. What about the oxygen, the stomach acids?
I thought for real you could live in a whale because of that.
I did at first too, and the damn Pinocchio movie didn't fucking help me.
Oh my God, I'm with you. That's what I imagined
but
it
I'm
too.
like, But I start thinking like, But we teach these type of things, and we're pushing those type of narratives, and then we demonize anybody that like, how can Columbus have discovered something where people already live? Let's say he actually landed in the right spot, right? We demonize people for even thinking like that. So we just rub out critical thinking at the kid level when they're the most vulnerable, when they're the most sponge-like, and when those type of skills should be being developed right there. So then the trajectory that we're on from there, and like nothing on the news cycles don't do it. Your cable news channels don't do it. Even the good one, MSNBC, right? Like, I mean,
What about Democracy Now?
I haven't even watched that in a while, but you have all these news cycles that they're not blowing Trump. They're like holding his testicles. Like, so they're all a part of it. So
that's what I was going to say. I don't want to let the press off the hook.
No, they're
on
responsible for this shit. Yeah.
You got a guy, his campaign manager is sitting in jail now, currently. There's 19 other indictments surrounding his campaign, and then he's having off-the-record meetings with no other Americans in the room with Putin.
Okay, I have a serious...
Shit. Could you imagine if there were as many articles about that as Hillary's email server, which, by the way, nobody managed to hack? DNC got hacked, RNC got hacked, Trump got hacked, Bernie got hacked.
Maybe she knew something as Secretary of State, right? Like, let me get my shit off this shit.
Yeah.
Imagine if that was shoved in people's faces as often. I mean, it's so plainly.
But the worst crime came even before. Like, 45 beat out 16 other more qualified, better qualified Republican candidates.
Yeah.
Like, if they didn't see the writing on the wall, like when he knocked out Jeb, right? Like, what the hell is really going on? Those were the alarms going off right then, but no one listened. But he knocked them out because the media was complicit. The media is complicit. They gave him over $1 billion of free TV time. Like, where was that listed as an in-kind donation on the FEC reports? Like, they are responsible for this because they're sorry sacks of shit too, because it generates ratings, and it's all about money. And
capitalism
it's about
must
capitalism.
die.
It needs to go. Or at least it needs to be modified or checked. Like, you can check and balance capitalism, but the lack of critical thinking doesn't allow for capitalism to be checked. So that's how capitalism becomes so horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah.
I mean, you really see it. So, like, sorry to bother you again, but I'm just thinking, because I worked in a call center. Like, I've had 2 jobs like that where I was telemarketing, and it is like the most soul-sucking, like, you know what I mean? And
yes.
And honestly, even with the canvassing stuff, or when you're like phone banking for, like, I hate when people like hang up on you or like yell at you or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it's
call them back.
Yeah.
I believe we got disconnected. So, as I was saying,
I just don't like it. I don't know. Anyway, so, but the things that we do, or that we have to do for our money, I don't know. I guess sometimes I feel like maybe I should just live off the grid, man.
Can you?
No.
Because, right, we're going to talk those skills. Like, yeah.
I have no skills.
Yeah. That's so.
Okay, go ahead.
Some people talk about, like, I'm not going to vote. I'm ready for revolution. We ain't going to do anything until overthrow. And I'm like, it's easier to take a hot-ass piece of lead than it is to, like, make some phone calls and vote regularly.
Yeah.
Like, wow. And I hate to burst people's bubbles, but we ain't ready for no goddamn revolution. I mean, like, the first thing they do is cut off food supply. Like, when you fight against the government, who knows how to grow anything? Like, I mean, edible. Folks have spent more energy in learning how to grow weed in their basement or in a little pot than corn.
Don't look at me.
No, I'm not. So the easier lift is to get active now while you can, before we get to the damn Hunger Games situation, but people don't get it. I mean, convenience has us fucked up too.
Yeah.
Like, these first world issues, and just,
I know.
Yeah. I can't give up not buying the latest, greatest phone. Like, so I have to help this keep going along, and I can't boycott the NFL, because what the hell else am I going to do on Sunday?
Yeah. I boycott the NFL.
Oh, I don't watch that shit.
So, I mean, it's that, but look, I need my phone. And phone to me is the strongest one because I feel like people have brought it to me like Maria, our friend Maria from various previous episodes, but she was like, what we do in Africa to get like the pieces that make our phones and what it's doing to the continent. Like, it's pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
And so then what are we going to do?
I mean, there was a time. So,
are you willing to pay more? Are you willing to, do you know what I'm saying? Like, and it's like,
why do we have to pay more? We don't have to pay more. Like, look at what these damn CEOs and shit are making.
Yeah.
Like, the company profits. No, fuck no. We don't have to pay
Yeah.
more. Like, that they take less, right?
Yeah.
Like, how
You want
many millions of dollars
redistribution of wealth.
Well, proper distribution of wealth.
Proper.
Yeah, like, because it's mutated right now. There's no like, pick a Fortune 100 company, and they all have people that are living below the poverty level. But yet their CEOs, their senior management, right? Like, they're making more money than is necessary to live. And I'm not saying people they won't starve. Like, if they took less so that their bottom tier workers aren't starving, the top won't starve.
Yeah.
Like, basic needs and necessities aren't even met by those people. Like,
Yeah.
and they're given the myth of work hard.
Yeah.
Entry level telemarketer, right?
Yeah.
Salesperson that we're going to keep raising your damn quota on your sales. And then we're not going to pay you for the shit that you get when you get quota, but like you won't receive an appropriate percentage of that. But we're going to just keep pushing that, and you keep working hard, and one day you too can be the VP of whatever.
Yeah.
People don't understand, like, you are poor. The majority of people listening to this,
Yeah.
you are poor.
Yeah.
It might suck to deal with it,
Yeah.
but deal with it.
Yeah.
You're poor. You're the working poor.
Yeah.
And you might not be the indigent poor. You
Yeah.
might not be like, hey, wake up off this damn park bench
Yeah.
and move poor, but you're
Yeah.
poor. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, how many hits can you take to your life and remain at your current level right now?
Word. No, you're right.
Like, so,
you're right.
But so when you go further up the ladder to those 10%ers, right? Like, not even the 1%, the 30%ers. Like,
Yeah.
that's when it's not poor.
Yeah.
Right? Like, the shit that you glamorize that people, when people lose your salary in a weekend, those are the
Yeah.
non-poor people. That's where the redistribution, or the modification, the proper adjustment of wealth needs to occur.
Is it going to be like Versailles? Like the French Revolution? Like, we got to cut people's heads off?
People ain't, I mean, no, we missed that mark. That shit was in the 60s.
Yeah.
Can you do that now? With
Yeah.
the way that military weapons are now?
Yeah.
With the way that technology is now?
No. Yeah.
We missed that mark.
All right.
I mean, it just...
I don't know. I see the American army getting its asses handed to it by goat farmers with Russian weapons from the 70s and every other country we go into.
Yeah.
I don't know. People can do things.
That's all.
Oh, shit.
So you lose 100 soldiers. How many of those people, how many goat farmers were lost, right?
Right.
So it's
For
100
sure.
to 1,000, or
For
100
sure.
to 10,000
Yeah.
casualties of war. We lost the mark. Like, when people are like, oh, the crazy racist, right? The Second Amendment right to bear arms. There ain't shit you can buy to compete with a drone.
Yeah.
So you can have a basement, a block full of stockpile
Yeah.
of whatever AR-15s and higher,
Yeah.
50 cal rifles or whatever, a machine gun, whatever, however the shit is. You can't compete with a drone. Shit you can't even see, right?
Yeah.
Take you out. So military technology has gone too far. I mean, how we're going to organize on our phones? The shit that the NSA is already reading, and they only get warrants to cover their asses. Like,
Yeah.
come on, Snowden, is he a hero or is he a bad guy? Like, how do you organize, right? I mean, we got to go back to notepads and pens, and
Yeah.
it's just,
Yes.
yeah, basically. So yeah, so that part is gone. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, or else we got to teach all of our kids to code.
Yeah.
From right off of breastfeeding on the coding. It's
I feel like that's what they do in China and
basically
Russia,
everywhere
Korea.
else. Everywhere else where they don't speak American.
Also, 3 countries where the government is definitely not getting overthrown by a popular uprising
Yeah.
anytime soon.
Right.
So, yeah.
Oh, gosh.
And we're complicit in that shit too.
Yeah.
Because of our first world needs.
Yeah. I know. Well, that's the thing. It's like my husband and I were talking about it, and he was like, well, right when we knew they meddled, like, people should have been, like, out in the streets. Like, we should have already, like, we even missed our chance now. Like, we should have just all been like, what the fudge?
What you mean in the streets?
Like,
I can't get shot.
Huh?
I can't get arrested. I can't get a ticket. And I don't think we protest properly, too.
Okay.
Like, I don't agree. Like,
Speak your truth, sir.
getting arrested is a scary thing, right? And I understand, like, if I'm a single parent, even if I'm not a single parent, like, that's an income hit. That's a livelihood change. Like, how come we don't protest in a different manner where we have cars break down in places and just cause, because it's about inconvenience, right? It's about inconvenience and bogging up different systems. The Dr. King theology of overloading the jails, that's a thing of the past, right? Because they have places to store and house us at now. But you disrupt people's comfort levels, like few car breakdowns along I-25 and I-70 few days. Like, you can't get arrested for your car breaking down, but you just snatched a couple of fuses out of it, right? It's protesting like that.
Yeah.
So you deplete things from the store and then you go return it. The return policy. Like, you throw off books and things like that.
Yeah.
It's just light stuff and nobody has a criminal record afterwards.
But how does the public know? How does the public know they've been inconvenienced by a protest and not just a broken down car?
When it happens for 3 hours, right? I mean, just when you're supposed to be at work at 7 and you don't get there until 11, like,
Yeah.
and it happens the next day.
But then how do they know that protest is against Trump and not against Muslim immigrants?
Same messaging, the same way that they do when overseas someone does a bombing and they're like, this was done by Hezbollah. Like, it's the same thing like that.
Claim it.
Right. But then watch the laws change about breakdowns, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like the same shit that happened when the 99%ers thing happened, right? Which was so fucking stupid. So this is why you need to organize, right? So they were like, oh, we want the 99% protest to be organic. So you're going to start this shit at the end of summer? You know, winter is coming, right? That is the natural equalizer. Like, camp your ass outside in winter. And in New York, you saw it. So then they said, oh, you can't plug up heaters, right? So they just start making the laws that nature broke down the protest. Here in Denver, you know, they missed their opportunity, and now this is why you cannot sleep outside in Denver. It has nothing to do with the homeless. Initially, it had to do with the protests, and because the protests, they were out there 24/7. Now that's become illegal. So like, you just need to learn the system, and then you need to strategically look like, how can I end this from there? Yeah.
What do you think of that?
Yeah. No, I think that's, I don't know. I don't have a response immediately, but that's interesting. It's something to chew on. Yeah.
Yeah. We can talk about
But
it.
what do you do? So what do you do if you do the camping and the camping's not illegal and then they come in and make it illegal? Or like you said, they come in and find some way to make it illegal to have your car break down. What do? You just keep moving your goalpost based on what they ban? Or
so you look at the rules in totality, right? Like, so that's when the pressure is applied upon the voting system, right? Because it was the city council people that made it illegal. So if you'd have started this in March, your protest in March, and you had like, okay, now that we're out here protesting, like a lot of those people didn't vote as well either, you know, because we don't believe in the system. Well, the system believes in you. And like as Brother Jeff says, you know, if you're not into politics, politics is into you. And I added like balls deep into you, like it is. So either you're active in it or you're not, but it's still active on you. So it's not just a one-prong approach. And sometimes I think we get caught up, and I say we, those that are in the revolution, or whatever it is, or how large it is, get caught up in just moving like, I'm just going to do this one thing, and that'll be it. Like, it's no, you have to do more than one thing, like with anything in life. You know, if you brush your teeth, like you have to spit, right? I mean, you have to do it consistently. You have to put toothpaste on the toothbrush and then motion on the hand. You just can't say, I bought a toothbrush and I'm okay. No.
What about you? Are you running for office?
Absolutely not.
Oh, okay. I was just wondering. That's the thing.
Yeah.
What do you think? You think Polis is going to win?
I hope he wins. Yes. I just, people need to turn out. Like, they're already running the ads about his sexuality. Like, that's going to energize people, right? And then what that's going to do on people on the other side of the aisle, the non-GOP people, like, you know, I'm not voting for, you know, some homophobic slur. And it's like, you're just stupid. Like, what you eat doesn't make me shit, so why do I care what you eat?
Yeah.
So he can do it, though. Polis can do it. I just, but people need to turn out to support it. And it's not just Polis. Like, we have to we need a full Democratic slate,
Yeah.
right? And then we'll spend the next 4 years refining our Democratic candidates. Like, we're hemorrhaging right now.
Yeah.
And everybody wants like fancy, nice, pretty ass stitches while we're hemorrhaging, but we're like 500 miles away from a fucking hospital, right? Like,
Yeah.
just stop the bleeding. So deal with it. And I'll argue with whoever, like the Democratic slate for the state of Colorado is with the ticket to stop the bleeding, period.
Yeah.
Like, and then we'll go into the process later of making sure that there's no scars from the surgery wound. Yeah.
All right. That was a lot of metaphor. Jesus.
People have to see it.
No, word.
Because people aren't
Yeah, I hear you.
smart enough to like, because if they were, we wouldn't be in this situation now.
Is Polis doing what he has to do to get? Because I agree with you. I vote, since I moved to this state, I vote straight Democrat on everything. But is Polis doing what he needs to do to get people of color, to get people, what they call the progressive wing, i.e. people who don't love tech and oil companies as much as Polis does? Like, that sort of thing. Like, is he doing what he's got to do to get those people? Because I worry that the symbology of Stapleton and the fact that all conservative politics is just about sticking a thumb in the eye of the left at this point. Boy, the symbology of putting a Stapleton in the governor's office.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's energizing to those people.
That
They love
said,
it.
I am
Like-
he stated that he was a Donald Trump supporter, right? Like, what blaring horn do you need from that? And Trump said that there are good Nazis, right? Like, and Nazis and Klansmen, like, I mean, they're penetrating each other, right? Like, so it's the same thing. So, yes. I mean, what louder message do you need to say? Like, Walker Stapleton is a racist ass Klansman, Nazi supporting white supremacist. He stated this in less words and less clarity, but it's blaringly loud. Is Polis doing what he's supposed to do and need to do? I'm not in the weeds on this one, right? So I'd have to say no. Because I'm separating from how I know how the system works. I'm separating what I do for a living, my political side, and just looking at it as an average person. Nope. I don't see it, right? And I'm the guaranteed vote. I might have turned my ballot in early, but I'm the guaranteed.
Yeah.
Like, Hashim's vote is counted on the Democrat straight side, bottom up. So I don't think that work is being done.
That's my concern.
And I have some concerns about it. And
That's why we invited him to be on our show.
is he going to do it?
He was out of town, and he gave us some maybe, but connect with me later, basically.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I mean, call him. I mean, I don't know. Like,
I do.
call him out.
His number.
Well, I mean, like,
I can't believe you're not drunk texting him on a regular basis. Actually,
all right. So Jared's approachable. I mean, there's some people that say like he's arrogant, but I mean, people say that about me too, right? Like, so I take it with a grain of salt. But he's approachable, at different events. I mean, I am the microphone voice, right? Like, I don't need a microphone to yell out from the audience. So I call people out where they are. Like, I mean, he needs to do more, oversaturated, right? And he has I feel he has a responsibility to pull all 4 spots over. He has the money.
Yeah.
He's the semi, right? Like, and they're riding on that tailwind. And if he wants to have a successful term as governor, he would want to have a full Democratic slate with AG. Damn, he wants. He should be begging Phil Weiser to like, hey, let's team up together, because those are the 2 powerful positions of the state, and you need that to complement that. And George Brockler was like, I feel if we have a Republican governor, they need to have a Republican AG, and that's why I want to run. Like, so I'm not just making this logic up on the Democratic side of the aisle. The Republican side of the aisle believes this too. And look at what they've done strategically. They have much better strategic plan than the Democrats do, right? So I have to give them credit on how they have their planning and how they carry that out. So Polis they need to engineer something for all 4. I don't know if they are or what, but that would be my Cadillac plan, my wish list for them to do.
Do you manage people's campaigns? Or are you like
I've
a campaign
never been
manager?
a campaign manager. Heavy is the head that wears the crown, and I don't want my head to be heavy. But I have worked on some campaigns, and I have been guilty of giving free labor, of giving advice to far too many campaigns.
Just wondering if anyone's looking for a campaign manager.
Consultant.
A consultant. If anyone's looking for a consultant, I like that. Ooh,
Yeah.
Is it like one of those TV shows I like to watch where you're like
My dream is to be like Olivia
a
Pope.
Pope? I knew it. I knew it.
My dream is to really be like her father.
Oh my gosh, what a scandal!
That was my favorite. That was my favorite character. And at first, I'm like, "Fuck is wrong with me?"
Yeah.
Like, because he was really bad, and like, but to protect
Right.
the republic. I mean,
I know,
to
but is
liberate
that-
the people.
Oh snap! Is that what you're doing?
I
Are
mean,
you
I would
a-
like to.
are
I
you
would.
like a-
I can make those hard choices
Yeah.
and
All
sleep
right.
well at night after it. Yeah.
All right. Well, you heard it here, folks. If you want to win, you need Hashim.
Yeah. If
on
you
your
want omelets, you
team.
got to crack some eggs.
Did you hear that? That was so good.
Hashim on your team.
Yeah.
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 Where's my beat though? Like,
That's good. I really like it. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, so I know it's not news that cops are being called on black people doing stuff, but it's like, come on now, too many coupons. Like, what's the world coming to? You can't have too many coupons at the store.
I haven't seen the coupon one.
It's a
That's
coupon.
new?
That just one just happened, and then by the time this episode airs, probably 3 other things will happen. So that happened for real, right? I saw the video of it. Then though, I heard that the kid who said that he got a tip on his card that said
we don't support terrorists.
it was a lie.
Really?
It was a hoax.
What the fuck is wrong with people? Like, because somewhere that probably happened to somebody, for
Yeah.
real, right? Like, I wouldn't be surprised
Yeah.
if that happened. But why, like, why would you mess that up? Like, because all that does is provide, that's one instance versus to 1,000 instances of when that's happened. And that one instance is going to be the
Like
the
Rachel
sunlight.
Dolezal
Yeah.
bombing her own self.
You know, and they're going to like, see, this is why it's fake because of this. See,
Yeah.
this is why it's fake because of this. Like,
No.
goodness.
I mean, that's mental illness, though, isn't it? I mean, to be that, I don't know, to do that, whatever narcissistic need you have is like, yeah.
You could just wait around.
Or
and
did it
probably-
happen? Right? If you think, like, did it happen to Khalil
Yeah.
one time before?
Yeah.
And they created that. So like, oh, I missed it then, so let me do
Yeah,
it
let me
now.
do it
because
now.
there is some truth to
Yeah.
it, but it wasn't true on that
Oh.
situation.
I don't know. I didn't read the article.
But it sucks. Like, I mean,
No, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I just heard that, and then it doesn't matter that I didn't read the article because nobody reads the article.
sadly, but true.
Right? I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not. We see so many things. How could we read all of them? You know. So to me, that wasn't something. I was just like, damn. And just the thought I had was, it doesn't even matter if it's like true or not because I know so many people are gonna see that and be like, have that exact reaction. That
But
no,
it's
not.
kind of true. Like, so black servers make less in tips than white servers,
Yeah.
right? So I mean, so there is some basis for truth to that. Then you have a name that's a non-European
Yeah.
name.
I think you're right.
You know,
I
like
think
living
you're
with the
right.
name of Hashim, like that is my birth name.
I know, and you're like, I know where to get the bean pies. Oh, P.S. I'm
Right.
not a Muslim.
Because people think I'm a Muslim, and I'm not offended by it or anything.
No,
my
no,
dad
no,
is
I know,
Muslim,
I know.
but I'm not.
Yeah.
But people think that my name, like.
But I
oh,
also, and
yeah.
that you're like, yeah, I know. And then it's not even just like a bakery. It's like a barber
It's
shop.
a barbershop.
Where they have bean pies in
Yeah.
the back.
So check it. It's Supreme Styles Barber off of like Colfax and Syracuse. So you go in, you're like, hey, let them know you want a bean pie, and then I tell them Hashim sent you. I'm not even getting a kickback from this.
I know,
I
right? They
love
just
bean
sponsor-
pies,
yeah.
and I just
They're good.
they are good.
They are good.
They are good. And allegedly, I may have eaten a whole one
Yeah.
in a day.
Oh, well, I like the one at the Black Muslim Bakery. They had the little ones, and it was just like your
Yeah,
own.
this moderation. These are a
Yeah.
little bit bigger. These are like 8-inch pans.
Oh, no. This is like a small, like a personal bean pie. Have
Yeah.
you had a bean pie? Like
I don't
James?
think I ever have.
People don't be
delicious.
thrown off by the name. Like, it's not like
It doesn't taste like beans.
cooked with meat and seasoned salt.
No.
Like, no.
It's like sweet potato pie, but made out of beans.
Yeah. If you can eat pumpkin pie, you can eat bean pie.
Ah, but you should want to.
You
'Cause
only
it's
eat
delicious.
bean pie.
Yeah.
I don't eat pumpkin pie.
Oh, I like pumpkin pie.
Do you? Mm-hmm. Oh, that comes from your other side.
No, because sweet potato. I also like sweet potato pie. And you can go back and listen
That
to our
comes from the
first
other side.
episode where we
Very-
talk about
our
black.
very first
episode
episode.
is Black Thanksgiving, White
We went on
Christmas, or
pumpkin
whatever.
versus sweet potato for
So
quite a while.
yes, because I do like both.
I got you. My mom does too. So my mom is like Dr. Frankenstein, right?
Yeah.
So growing up, it was like, what the hell am I eating this time? Like, she always just mixed stuff.
Yeah.
And as I'm older, I appreciate it. As
Yeah.
a kid, I hated it. Like,
Yeah.
one time we had pheasant, right? And I thought
Yeah.
it was just chicken.
Yeah.
And it's fine now.
Yeah.
But you tell that to a kid,
Yeah.
like, hey, pheasant. And I just tripped out. And she always thought it was good to do stuff like that
Yeah.
to me. And I hated it. So now that's why I don't taste, like, unless I see, I can identify it, I don't taste it now. But she'll make, like, mix pumpkin with sweet potato. Or she tried to use to pass off pumpkin and sweet potato pie. I'm like,
Yeah.
can't do that. They
Yeah.
look completely different when they're cooked. So then she would mix pumpkin with sweet potato.
Yeah.
Almost got me.
Yeah.
And I was so angry.
Oh my God, I can't wait. By the way, I'm going down south for my family reunion,
Okay.
which is coming up this week. And so by the
Good-
time this
good
episode
eating.
airs, I will already be back, and I will be probably up 10 to 15 pounds because down
Or
south,
not, because you might
girls,
sweat it out, right? Because
it's
you're not
gonna be
used to it.
hot. It's gonna
Yeah.
be hot. I think I'm gonna have to have my cousin take my hair out too. I'm gonna be sweating down there. Anyway, but all of those foods, and then I'm gonna go get to be with the family. I'm so excited.
What part of the South?
Savannah, Georgia.
Okay. The
So-
South.
Yes. And every time like we would go to the South when I was a kid, I would feel like nervous,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because we used to get pulled over when my dad was driving. You know what I mean? Like just
I
things,
understand. So-
happen down there. And I'm just tired of like almost this feeling of like we can't even just be living. Like I
can't.
saw that girl that got murdered, Mia Wilson on the BART.
Bay? Yeah.
So that was my BART station, was the MacArthur BART
Okay.
when we lived in the Bay Area. And, bad stuff happens there a lot because there is like a huge like population that's like mentally ill and just like roaming the streets, like waving knives around and stuff. That's a real thing. I've had people like scream at me.
I dig it.
Yeah. So anyway, this girl gets stabbed, and like I think you said that those Proud Boys showed up at the memorial they were doing, or like a protest. Do you?
Who showed up?
Are you familiar with the Proud Boys? So they're one of these like alt-right subgroups.
Wow.
They're specifically fans of Gavin McInnes, who founded Vice.
Okay.
He was ousted from Vice years ago for writing all kinds of really hateful articles and things. And now he kind of has a second career as like just an angry white guy on YouTube yelling about immigrants and stuff. And
Making money.
and I don't know what Proud Boy is a reference to. I guess it's like a reference to The Simpsons or something, but it's whatever his fans grabbed onto. And so, yeah, they're just kind of like a generally like just angry kind of alt-right group. And I guess they coincidentally, or some people think uncoincidentally, the Proud Boys had a meeting planned in downtown Oakland the same day that the knife attack happened. And so that night or the next day or whatever, they had a vigil, and some of these guys kind of like showed up and I guess talked some shit or tried to provoke people or whatever, and they all kind of got the shit kicked out of them.
Good.
And then the cops built like a wall around them and then tear gassed the protesters
vigil.
who were attacking them, etc. But yeah, so that's kind of the story. But it's all from inside the protest. So like you
Yeah.
go on Twitter and you kind of see these crazy videos, and a dude, they took his shoes, which is hilarious. They like beat the shit out of him and then took his shoes,
Yep.
and he was walking around barefoot in the streets.
She broke glass around him.
Yeah. But so that's kind of the story there. But so there's a lot of people are wondering, how can this be a coincidence? Is it possible that, the presence of Proud Boys that night emboldened this guy to do what he did, etc.? I don't know. It's a lot of conjecture at this point, but
Could be a coincidence. Could not be. It could be.
I just feel like that's now though everything feels so heightened that maybe things that I wouldn't have thought were perhaps racially motivated, I probably, if things weren't like this now, if I heard a white guy murdered a black woman randomly, I probably wouldn't think it was like, I would just think, oh, he's like a crazy person and how terrible that is, but
even
now,
when it's random,
like-
it's not random. I mean, there's a reason why women of color specifically tend to be the victims of serial killers and things like that. And it's because of a social perception that police will care less and there will be less repercussions.
And it's true. There's been like 4 this week or something.
Yeah.
Like,
When women of color go missing, like
Do you know how many
I
women of
rarely
color
get Megan
missing?
alerts or
Yeah.
not Megan alerts,
Amber
Amber
alerts,
alerts.
yeah.
For that, you rarely see it on the news, right? Like, but it's happening. It's for real. But this is my free consulting tip to like gangs and whatever the names want to go by, street gangs, Crips, Bloods, whatever. Like, do a PR revamp, right? Start protecting the communities again, like with the origination of where gangs came from. Like, rose up out of California to protect blocks from a corrupt police department, to protect blocks from racist vigilantes that would just come. I shouldn't say vigilantes, racist terrorists, right? That come through and terrorize those in the communities. Those gangs started to protect. So all they have to do now is protect. I'm not trying to like say do violence, right? I'm just saying protect a life, and that means like if you see a police stop, witness it, right? And use your Second Amendment right to display your arms and witness it and like send the message that we're guaranteeing that this motorist is going to make it home. To these type of vigils, come out like, hey, to the family, have your vigil. We're here to support. We're just here to protect, right? Like this thing that happened with Maxine Waters. So there was a group that was going to protest, a racist group that was going to protest at her office. Well, the word got out, and so the community is like, we think not. So there was an anti-protest group that came out, and Maxine was like, stay at home, please stay at home. But the community's like, nah, fuck that. Like, we're not. And so they came out, and they whooped a couple of those racist asses, and that's what we need to do. Like, if we don't protect, the system is getting engineered not to protect us, right? And it's done in a race base, but it's also done in a class base too. And a lot of poor white people get this wrong and thinking that it's only the community of colors that are being targeted, right? Like, so it's a class, and they need to research the Bacon's Rebellion, and that gives a little bit of insight on how this stuff started back hundreds of years ago. And so it's poor white people too that are going to receive, like, black people will be gone, brown people will be gone. Then it's the poor people, right? Like, so then and how supremacy and the whole Aryan mindset works, it's going to work its way back until there's nothing but blonde hair and blue eyes, right? But yeah, so that's what the gangs need to do. That's how you fix your PR. Protect the communities, make the streets safe again.
You hear that, gang members that listen to my podcast?
Right. They might have a cousin. I mean, I don't know. Like, I gotta tell that message everywhere. I've done it on my Facebook wall a couple of times.
I like it. You should get on Twitter and do it.
Right. I probably should.
I'm serious. They're on there. Okay.
I mean, but that would be a thing. Like,
I follow them.
I think I have no gang affiliation whatsoever. I mean, I probably have some family members, whatever, but me personally, I don't have it. But I would feel safer in that environment than I do like at getting stopped for speeding, and I know that I was speeding, right?
Yeah.
Like, I just feel safer in that environment. Like, it's.
What are we gonna do? I say that every day. All right, so
that's a good question.
No, but I feel like I do want to know, because I'm like, all right, so these are the things that we have to do, like, this week, I guess. So we need to, like, abolish the Electoral College. Mm-hmm. What else? We got to make sure everybody is registered to vote and ready to vote, straight, democratic, to stitch up the wounds.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, not just register, but vote and turn the damn ballot in.
Register and vote and turn the ballot in, and don't forget, or you're going to face the consequences, right?
We are facing the consequences. Like, yes.
I know, but I mean, I feel like it's just getting worse.
It is. This is how you stop it, but yeah.
All right. So that's the blueprint. Oh, and if you didn't see Sorry to Bother You, and we've spoiled the film for you, you should still go see it anyway. Because there's parts we didn't. I mean, we didn't tell everything.
We didn't.
We didn't.
Actually,
we didn't.
Okay. Yeah. I mean,
how'd you feel about the horses?
I know. Well, I feel like okay.
Symbolism.
How did I feel about it? I felt like when I saw that, I was just like, oh shit! Like, I feel like in the theater, because I saw it in 2 different theaters. Okay. So I saw it the first time over here by my house at the Harkins, and it was like mostly black people in there, and even the row I was sitting in with my husband, like, the other people, they were like old people too, like old Air Force black veterans with their little hats on and stuff, and my dad is there, and we're like, I don't know. It just had a definitely like different feel in there for sure. It was just a different audience, because then I went to see it at the screening that Boots was at, my friend Boots,
Fancy.
the Mayan, and I seriously, I turned around and I was like, holy shit! I'm like, there's so many white people here, like, and I think I even said out loud, and my husband's like, oh God, Rebecca, but I mean, it was really like noticeable to the point where like,
because it was a screening, right? So there's a different spacing.
Yeah, but I felt nervous because I was like, oh God, I hope they like laugh at the right parts. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, I don't know.
But you didn't. The people who criticize the movie feel that the twist and the presence of the sci-fi aspect and everything kind of took them out of it toward the end. Were you on board for it? How'd you feel about it just from a viewer standpoint?
From watching a film like that, from there, I just felt so shocked by it. I was repulsed. I was like, what the fuck, And I feel like that's what it has to be. It has to, and that's what's going to make people get out and vote or get out and tear shit down, is like, you have to see something so terrible. And even when you see it, then if you don't know how to fix the problem, then you just get used to it. Mm-hmm. And like, that's what we're doing now. Like, we see all the problems. We're not blind. Like, we see it, but it's like
human conditioning.
Yeah.
Right. Like if I put my foot on your foot, and I camp it there for long enough, your foot's going to adjust to it, right?
Yeah.
And that's how we are with life. We just adjust to the situations, and it just keeps dropping and dropping and dropping. Like when gas went up with Bush, right?
Yeah.
So gas hit like $4 a gallon.
Yeah.
So then milk went up, right?
Yeah.
When's the last time gas has been $4 a gallon? When's the last time the milk prices have dropped? So it just keeps going up higher. Things just keep going up higher, even though the price of gas dropped. The price of cost of living hasn't really dropped.
Yeah.
But they use that to justify, like, it costs more money to get the milk to the store, so we have to charge more for the milk. But when the gas prices drop, and the price of the barrel of oil, like, if you look at the prices now versus in the 80s, is it that much more expensive? No, but the gas prices still are. Why? Production. They're making gas differently? No, it's that mutation of wealth.
Yeah.
That's the blame on this. But the horse stuff, talk about the horse, like that kind of, I'm hard to watch a movie with because I get so critical on shit. Like I'm a literal person.
Yeah.
So I have to pull myself out and just enjoy the movie for what it is. And that kind of threw me at first. But there was some other stuff that was like, this ain't real. Like, some of the lining, some of the conversation throughout the earlier parts of the movie, I'm like, whatever. But I get the message. Was it "Don't be a menace while drinking your juice"?
Yeah.
I'm like, message, like that type of stuff.
Yeah.
But I think the director could have done more to explain the mutation of that. I mean, I got it. I'm not the smartest person in the world, but I'm not the dumbest either.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there's some other folks that are like, whatever. But there could have been a little bit more explaining about the horses in there. But I think it also showed like, hey, you're gonna reap what you sow, and how in the end, how he turned into one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you thought everything was good.
Yeah.
You think everything is all right, and your life is great. Then, bam.
Bam.
Oh, yeah, that time in Vegas. No, let me stop.
What did you think, Wade James?
I have to watch it again. I don't know.
Yeah.
When it was happening, I was sort of like I liked the crazy fever dream vibe of the movie, but when it went into the horse stuff at the end, I was like, I was invested in Cash's story.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't in... Now there's like monsters and stuff, and I'm like, I don't know.
This definitely can't be real.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
But on the other hand, I like what he did with it. I thought it was brilliant that Cash went out and exposed it to the world, and the world was like, wow, what an amazing technological advance.
Yeah,
Nobody gave a fuck.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow. Like
So
there was,
Russia has Actus.
yeah. It was like some
No
of
one gives a
the
fuck. Yeah.
some of the way he presented it, I thought was pretty brilliant. But yeah, I don't know. It's such a bold decision to do it that way. I feel like it totally broke your neck when it happened. And I feel
know.
like I have to see it again.
I feel like that was like, to me, I was like rejuvenated. And then my pops was like, what the fuck was that? And then he's like, why'd that thing have that 22-inch long dick? Yeah, you should cut that.
Yeah. I mean, could that be how society views black men?
Of course it
For
is.
labor.
But it was just like
That's how I
he
took
just,
it.
of
Yeah.
course. was. Oh, sorry. But like for
No,
my
you're good.
dad, he was like,
You didn't get it. Like,
I mean, he was just like, nah. You know what I mean? Like, but he's like, I liked it good up until that part. You know, like it was funny and, you know, he was enjoying it. But, and then he didn't like that fantastical element.
I thought it was kind of brilliant. I don't know. I haven't heard anybody else talk about this, but I thought it was brilliant the use of the white voice as kind of the initial device in the story, because at this point, white people are pretty okay with the white voice. Like, it's not an offensive, like, Richard Pryor did the white voice
Yeah.
35 years
Yeah.
ago. So white people laugh along with the
Yeah.
white voice. White people are not put off by it.
Yeah.
And I thought it was pretty clever to make the white voice the initial device, because it wasn't something that the white audience was going to be like too offended by.
Yeah.
They would kind of go along and be like, yeah, we do talk like that. And then just snuck in all this crazy radical shit kind of under that.
That's why I thought it was the blueprint. I thought her earrings, she was telling us to murder, 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 kill, kill, kill. And then all the sayings on her earrings, like it was like, you have to fight. And I was like, oh, you know?
Yeah.
fighting doesn't always mean killing.
I know, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean, I think.
You're all right. You're good.
I'm good. Not gonna murder, not gonna kill. Hashim, you have to tell me what you want the world to know about you, or what events you have coming up.
Oh, wow.
Where can we find you on social media? Because you was dropping some truth bombs tonight, and so I feel like people should know how to reach out to you if they want to, or if they want you to consult for them.
All right.
And you know what I'm saying?
Okay. So as we were talking, like even on the drive over here though, I forgot. Like, so my fraternity brother, my friend, Greg Diggs, used to sit here.
Yeah.
And like he invited me to come on. Like he's like, you should stop by. I'm like, I don't know. I just always felt apprehensive about it, but I just wanted to give him acknowledgement tonight, and I should have did that opening up. And he was a friend and a supporter too. Like he was a Hashim supporter. So how to reach Hashim? I'm giving out my phone number. Right?
No, like
But I
on your
could-
social media.
My social media. So it's Hashim. It's like spelling Hashim. Hashim. Coates. Coates. Like Ta-Nehisi Coates. Like yeah. People are like, are you guys related? I'm like, I don't know. Small slave plantation. Coates is
say it all the
not a
time.
famous name, not a big name. But he's born one day before I am in the same year. So yeah. So that's interesting. So that's my Facebook. My email is Hashim, Hashim, the progressive @gmail.com. I guess I don't know. I have a Twitter. I don't know what my Twitter account is.
Get out of here.
I don't like. I've had it for some years.
Are you on the Instas? Or the gram?
I don't want to buy my damn Instagram.
Okay, fine. Forget it. Listen, if you want to talk to Hashim,
But maybe I do. Like,
just you have to go through me. So you can hit me up at Rebecca Mendation, Rebeka Mendation, at Twitter.
Yeah, so Sheen Stream is my Instagram. Yeah, that's one word. But I'm trying to think of what my Twitter is.
Clearly, it's not the best
It's
way
not
to reach
important.
you if you don't know what it is.
If you don't know
It's
what your
not.
Twitter handle is,
But
nobody's
I
trying
tweet
to.
out though, like when I watch AM Joy on the weekends is when I'm most active on Twitter, and I'm like calling her conservative guests all type of stupids and everything.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? Oh, and Hashim is single and then same gender loving. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
Hashim is single.
Yeah.
And yo.
I'm getting old, so I have to drag the net everywhere.
No.
That's why he's on.
He's like, hey. No, I do be announcing
social
that.
consciousness, blah, 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 blah. I need a ring on it, right?
That's how you can do it, though.
Yeah.
That's the only reason that I'm able to even do any of the work that I do as like a public servant and as you said, a citizen activist or whatever you called us for sitting around this table and talking stuff, is because my husband works and is part of the capitalist system and supports me and keeps keeps everything as it should be.
Okay.
And so I feel like if you are a person that cares, if you're a progressive person and you have money, then you should link up with the poor activist person and support them.
Right.
And love them. And if you're listening, baby, which I know you are, Hashim's gay, so don't worry. He's just so fine. I was like, ooh, Hashim's coming over.
Thank you.
Woo! Let's put a picture up, too. Nobody. Okay. James, sometimes I just wish people could see your face because the way you look at me.
Off Color is a presentation of Tan Tigress Productions, hosted by Rebecca Henderson, produced by me, James Meekum, music by me as well. Follow us on Twitter at OffColorPod, on Facebook at Off Color Podcast, and subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts. Thanks for listening.